Welcome to the virtual station tour. I do want to say I wish we could all be together today at our station to show you around, but this will be the next best thing. I remember being just like you, and I was wondering what it would be like to have a career in broadcasting. And at first, I just wanted to be on television. But the more I learned about this industry and the different jobs, I realized that my strength was more in the things that I like to do, like being creative, writing commercials and promos, filming, editing, and producing videos. And all of that helped me get to where I am today. So my advice to you today is to imagine yourself doing the jobs and the duties that you are going to learn about on this tour. Ask yourself, is it interesting to you? Is it something that you could do? But the most important question is, would it make you happy doing it every day? We have over 100 employees in our station and several different job titles and responsibilities. And the best employees are those that approach their job with passion. They love what they do, they love helping other people, and they love sharing great stories. So enjoy the tour, and I'll be listening in if you have any questions along the way.
And I think that means that I'm up next. So hi, everyone. My name is Brittany Falkers. I am an anchor and reporter here at KGW, and I think I'm the only one on this virtual tour that's actually at the KGW studio right now. So right behind me, what you see is our newsroom. Before COVID, it would be full of people busy running around, producers, directors, reporters, anchors, everybody. Now things are a little bit different, of course. So I'm just going to start by telling you a little bit about myself. Like I said, I'm an anchor and reporter. I'm an MMJ. Many of you might have heard those terms, MMJ, MSJ, one-man band, stands for either multimedia journalist, multi-skilled journalist. It basically means it's industry talk for I shoot, I edit, I write all of my own content, and I present it myself as well. So I've been in the business for about 9 years now, which is crazy to say out loud because it goes by super, super fast. But my interest in broadcast news actually started when I was around your age, when I was in high school. I was in high school when YouTube was just becoming a thing, but I loved to make videos with my friends. And anytime I could do a school project that had a video element in it, where I could make it like a talk show, or I could make it, you know, the Brittany show with this interview question to do a history project, something like that, I always took that opportunity. And then when I got to high school, we had a TV film and production class. And I know a lot of you have something very similar where you put on a newscast maybe once or twice a week and you present it to your fellow classmates or throughout the whole school. And I had something like that too. I was a musical theater kid, and I just thought that it would be a fun way to go shoot my own videos and learn more about that stuff. But when it came to actually doing real interviews and writing real stories, I found a passion that I didn't know I had. So any of you that are in those classes, there's so many avenues you can go through and go down when it comes to news, whether it's producing, directing, being a reporter, anchor. There's so many jobs. And the beauty about being in broadcast journalism is that there's a good chance that you might get to do a bunch of those jobs throughout your career. So I just say, take every opportunity that you can, find that curiosity right now, because you never know where it's going to take you. I really didn't think that this was going to be a real career option for me until even after college. You know, I always thought, oh, I see these people on news, they seem to, they're just what they're doing, and they must have had an in somewhere. I didn't have an in anywhere. I just worked really hard and worked my way up, and you guys can do it too. It's all about persistence and curiosity in this job. So I want to tell you a little bit more about being an MMJ, because that's new to me. I've been in this business for 9 years, but I was a morning anchor for about 8 of those years. So I worked with photographers mostly as a team. But that just doesn't really exist in our industry anymore. I mean, we have those opportunities to work with photographers, and that'll happen. But if you don't have your own skills to shoot your own video, edit your own video, and write it, having all of those skills is really, really crucial in this career. And I will say, like, there are parts of that that I would say I'm better at. My strong suit is in writing, but I have got to grow and learn so much in shooting and editing my own video. And it's really been empowering, and it makes me feel like a better journalist. Like, I have more control over my stories, and it's a really exciting time to be in this industry because so much is changing. So I had a couple questions on here. Yep, most people go to college for 4 years, 4-year degree. I went to school at the University of Minnesota for 4 years, got internships when I was in college, and that really, really helped my career path. But I'll kind of give you a normal day, kind of a typical day before the pandemic, because things have changed a lot. So before a pandemic, everybody would come into the newsroom to start the day with our morning story idea meeting. And that can be one of the most stressful parts of the day, because that's when you do your story pitch. And that's really setting you up for the rest of the day. And the stronger your story pitch is, the more likely you're going to get to do the story you want to do. The weaker your story pitch is, the more likely that you're going to be assigned to a press conference or the news of the day, which is also great, but you have a little more control. The more research you do, the more you kind of cultivate those sources, and that all comes back to curiosity. So after you would get assigned your story for the day, then it was off to the races. Every day you're kind of fighting that deadline that's always creeping and approaching, just a little few moments away. And you're out shooting, writing, and interviewing people all day until the 4 o'clock newscast, and then it's showtime. Now that the pandemic has happened, things have changed a lot. Most of my interviews that I do are just like this, on Zoom or on FaceTime. And so I don't get that one-on-one in-person connection with people, but it's really interesting to see how it's all evolved, how it's changed, and how not just reporters have adapted, but how the people that we're interviewing are adapting to. So I'm going to share quickly just a little bit of a story that I did in the time of COVID. And it just kind of shows you how we've adapted, because before, when I was an MMJ, I'd get to go out on a shoot, and all of my interviews, all of my video for that story would usually be in that one place where I could go out and get that video. Now we have to figure out how to use our resources to present a story on a visual medium, that is TV and digital, with few visuals. So here's a little one that I did that's one of my favorites, with a guy called the TikTok Doc.
While scrolling through social media right now, you can easily get bogged down by all the negativity. That is, until you come across a certain doctor at Oregon Health and Science University. Meet Jason Campbell, the dancing TikTok doc. His prescription for fun is on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Slide to the right. We got to get through this with physical health, with mental health, and dancing will do that.
The 31-year-old is a resident physician in the Department of Anesthesiology and Perioperative Medicine at OHSU.
You know, I've been dancing since I was in middle school, break dance when I was in 7th grade and 8th grade.
All these years later, it's paging Dr. Campbell to the dance floor.
Naturally, I am just...
All right, that's what I call a teaser there. You don't get the whole story because we only have so much time. But if you saw in there a lot of pictures incorporated, old videos that he was able to send, it adds a whole new element. And I think that it's something that our industry is going to take with us after this pandemic. How do we incorporate more things like graphics, pictures, and to be able to do these things remotely has opened up a lot of doors for us. So like many of you are finding and adapting, this business is too, and there's so many opportunities.
Thank you so much for joining in today. My name is Wendy Gatlin, and I am the Digital Content Director for KGW. And so what that means is exactly what it sounds. We do the digital side of news, and which is extremely, extremely important, because we know that while TV is a really, really important spoke to KGW, digital is also a really important spoke as well. If you think about how you are getting your news, I can pretty much assume that you're probably getting it digitally. You're probably getting it on your phones. And so these are some of our top stories that we've been working on, some over the weekend and some today. And so what we do is we have a lot of great tools to help us tell us what stories are doing the best right now. For example, we've got this tool called Chartbeat. And Chartbeat lets us know what stories are really popping right now and what are people looking at the most right now. And so if we look right now, we can see the top 40 schools, that's in the top, the COVID-19 updates. All of these stories, this sad story about the 6-year-old girl in Southeast Portland that was nearly hit with stray bullets. If I come back to the website, we're going to see that those stories that are showing up here are more than likely going to be showing up, as we say, above the fold. We know that most people are probably not going to be scrolling down to find any more stories. So we like to put those top stories at the forefront of people's phones and their desktops so that they have an idea of, what should they be reading. Now, another great tool we have is called headline testing. Let's say we've got a story we know is doing fantastic. What we can do is we can actually go into any story, and there's a lot of collaboration that goes on with the team. We communicate through Slack mostly. If you don't know what Slack is, it's an interoffice tool, and it allows you to set up different channels to communicate with different parts of the newsroom. And so if we have a story and we know it's doing well, let me find a good one. We collaborate on different headlines that might work for that story. And so we'll get all those in, and that will be interspersed for a certain amount of time until we have what we call a winner. And you can see right here, this one was by far the best headline there. So we went ahead, went with that story, with that headline, and gave that story just a little more legs, okay? Another thing we do, we pay really close attention to the stories that are really moving the needle for us. And what we're looking at here is just kind of a 28-day outlook. If I wanted to go through and see, how did we do over the weekend? What top stories resonated most with the audience over the weekend? I can come over here and I can see that, it was that story about the stray bullets. And, you can kind of keep, you can see right here the top stories, top videos. Videos are a very important metric. More and more, videos are where it's at. That's how people are consuming information. And so we try to get videos in every single solitary story that we do. And then we have push alerts. And those are the alerts that you get on your phone when we send, important messages on your phones that you can literally just open up and click into the story. And so, Brittany kind of mentioned social media, and that's a huge part of our digital presence as well. And so we have some great tools to kind of monitor not just our team, but other teams as well, and other stations and other entities. And so what you're looking at right here is a look at some social media accounts for Facebook. This is the KGW main page, this column right here. And so in this one is all of the KGW staff members. And so we can kind of scroll through here and see what kind of stuff our own people have been posting. And so what we do with this stuff is, like I would go in right now and I see Nina's got this really cute post from our brand page. We believe in lifting up our people. And so when we see a photo or a post that's doing really well, we'll go in and share that from the brand page and tag the reporter and, hopefully give a little growth to their page and just it helps align them with the KGW brand a little bit more. This column right here is a list of all of the Oregon local news organizations. So, and this goes back for the last 6 hours. So I can kind of see, we can go through and see who's posting what's doing well for other entities, and is there anything we're missing? Is there anything we need to be doing? And over here, we just have some local influencers that aren't news, like, the Portland Thorns, the Timbers. We try to really get in on, the really good community-based organizations that make it easy to share content. And so we also have an Instagram board as well. And so same lines, we have our KGW peeps, we've got the brand, we've got our peeps, we've got the local TV, and then we've got local news. And so these are just some really cool ways to just kind of keep updated on what everybody in the market is posting. And just one more thing, YouTube is a huge part of our presence. We, you know, video, like I mentioned before, is a huge metric for us. And so we go in and make sure that all of our videos are on our YouTube channel. Matter of fact, I come back in here, you'll be able to see that we really, really try to keep our YouTube page updated and current. And that means, you know, is it playlist, the 2020 election, protests in Portland. We know people are clicking on that. Just all these different categories, and we'll go in and change those out depending on what is happening right now in the world. So that's kind of just a brief overview of what the digital team does on a daily basis to make sure that our story coverage is also aligning with our TV coverage.
So I am the director of marketing. My name is Jennifer Woodruff, and I actually have only been here for about 6 months. So I actually moved here in the middle of the pandemic, and I've never actually been in the building that Brittany is sitting in, but we were figuring out how to make it work. So just to kind of give you guys an idea of what it's like right now, it is a little different than what I normally would be. But that being said, one of the things that I think is really neat is that I didn't actually start out thinking I was going to work for a local TV station. I had no plans on being a journalist. I was a graphic designer and worked actually in other industries first. So I think it's always really important to know that sometimes gaining experience in other places in your life and kind of figuring out what it is you like to do is really valuable too. So, so I'd say, you know, you never know where your career path is going to take you. I never thought that I was going to be living in Portland, Oregon, much less being a marketing director. So you never know. So one of the things I would say that is what's really unique about our department is that we work with everyone. So we work with the newsroom because we help to promote and market what they're doing for as far as news content goes, but we also are the ones that produce all of the commercials for all of our sales clients too. So if a local business buys advertising with us and doesn't already have their advertising put together, our team actually will create that for them too. So really what it comes down to is our team is really good at digging into what is your brand, who's your audience, what are your goals, and figuring out how to be able to meet those needs. So I think that's we work with the content team all the time on the news side. So who's watching the show? Who's available? Who is going to our app? Who's reading our newsletter? What are their interests? How can we find them? How can we get them to consume more? How can we meet their needs for information that they need? So, and then we do the same thing on the client side then with, is their goal to try to bring more people into their business? Are they trying to get more leads? I mean, it's, it kind of runs the gamut. So I will talk a little bit about the side of going into with our clients, and then Ellen's going to talk a little bit about what it's like working with the newsroom as a marketing producer. So just real quickly, I want to show you a spot that we created earlier this year for our food drive in conjunction with Bob's Red Mill.
Food is powerful. It breaks down walls and feeds the soul. We know it and we live it. We believe in good food for all. That's why we are proud to support the KGW Great Food Drive. 1 in 9 in this great state go hungry. Almost half of those are kids. We can do better than that. We can have big goals. We can help solve big problems with ideas that inspire change. That's why we're here, to help one another, to add something, to make folks a little happier and a little healthier. No one should go hungry, and if we all come together, we will make a difference. Please take a moment and donate today. Just go to kgw.com/food drive.
So you can see how we tied our brand and our goals and our values in with our food drive, in with Bob's Red Mill's goals and brand as well to work together. So we made it so that it tied both things together to help support our community. So on the other side of things, I'm going to let Ellen talk about what it's like being a producer with our news team.
Hi guys, my name is Ellen Boynton and I'm a marketing producer. And I'll talk to you a little bit about how we work really closely with the newsroom in order to promote what the news stories that they're working on. So when we hear about a news story, or sometimes they'll contact us and say, hey, we're doing this really important story and we want everybody to know about it. So we decide, okay, we're going to promote this story, and we think about it in lots of different ways. We think about the fact that we want to promote it on air, on our channel, to the people who watch KGW. And then we also think about all of the people like Wendy talked about that view us on digital and on our social media. So we think about our Facebook audience, and we think about our Instagram audience. And so we create lots of different types of media based on those audiences in order to get people to watch the stories. So I'll share with you two different versions of a promotion that we did for one story to kind of illustrate that. So here's the first one. Let's see. So this first one is an on-air promo for a story that we did about Inside Woodlawn.
Wednesday, tackling the new school year from a distance.
It's hard to accommodate when life is going on around you.
Two families share the ups and downs of remote learning.
We both were just on the verge of having a stroke.
And how to turn stress and struggle into success.
We've been able to honestly make lemonade out of lemons.
Lessons from parents to help retain your sanity.
It's really forced me, honestly, I think, to be a better parent.
A special Inside Woodlawn, Wednesday at 6 on The Story with Dan Haggerty.
All right, does that look familiar? So we shared that one for on air. That means it aired during commercials. And then we have this other one that we put together.
Where are you at right now?
And it's all around us. There's nowhere here that doesn't have
to put together for our social media. And this one, you'll notice it's promoting the exact same story, but this one is different in that it has a square format, and that it also has the captions up all the time, because we know that when people are watching video on their phone, most of the time they don't turn up their volume, they just read things. So this is captioned the whole time. So you can kind of see the difference in the way that we're promoting this on a social channel versus what we did on air.
It's class time, can you grab your computer?
It's hard to accommodate when life is going on around you.
We both were just on the verge of having a stroke at the end of every class meeting.
We've been able to honestly make lemonade out of lemons. It's really forced me, honestly, I think, to be a better parent.
So there you go, two different examples of ways to promote the same story. So when you think about different jobs that you want to pursue, there's an option to be the news reporter and to actually go after the story, but there's also a creative side where you can work in marketing and think about creative ways to promote those stories that the newsroom is doing. So it's really fun.
Hey everybody, I am the Director of Sales for KGW, and all these other really cool things that you're seeing and hearing about don't happen unless we have the revenue to support them. Now, there's not a sales department just to collect money, right? Advertising works, and it's really helpful to the local businesses that we have and that we work with. And promotion of your business needs to be part of any business plan. But in the case of television advertising, it's quite effective. It's one of the most effective ways. Now, we're not going to be surprised if there's a lot of people, knowing the youth, the level of youth that we're speaking to right now, that not a lot of you might be used to coming home, turning on the TV and tuning into Channel 8 to collect your content. We know that people are consuming their television in a different way, and that's via streaming. So if you have a device attached to your television, or if you have a smart television, streaming video is really the way things are going in a lot of ways. So while we still reach mass amount of people with our over-the-air broadcast when they tune into Channel 8, our company Tegna has developed a streaming platform on which to reach people that are viewing content via streaming video, like in a Roku or an Apple TV, or like I said, a smart TV. So say you go home, to paint an example, right? Disney Channel, or Disney Plus, excuse me, you tap into the Disney Plus on your app, you're able to watch Disney content. But there are other things like Hulu that offer ad-supported content. And that's the business we're in, so that's the product that we have. So with that said, it's referred to as OTT, as over the top, to differentiate the fact that it is streaming video versus over the air video or through cable or satellite. But as you pay attention, you're going to recognize what you see here. So I have a video to share with you.
The way we consume television has changed. Traditional TV is just one of many screens in our viewing experience. In fact, some folks are completely removing their TV services and opting to watch their shows over the top, or as it's commonly referred to by those in the know, OTT. So what once was appointment TV is now available on any device, anytime, anywhere. Not to geek out, but let's run through some numbers. By the year 2022, it's expected that 69 million people will abandon cable and satellite. Let's pause for a moment and let that sink in. 69 million. That's bigger than the population of countries like France or South Korea. Don't get me wrong, a ton of people will still be connected to the cord, but OTT is on the rise with nearly a third of all TV viewing taking place on OTT platforms. And these viewers are clever, savvy, and not viewing your advertising message anywhere. So how will we reach these valuable and affluent viewers? Meet the fine folks at Premion. They will connect you to the eyeballs you covet most. I'm talking rapidly expand 18 to 49 over-indexing viewers. With the backing of Tegna's massive regional and local reach across the nation, Premion can go as big or as small as you like. We're not talking small potatoes here. Your brand will be alongside premium long-form content on great platforms such as Apple TV, Roku, Chromecast, smart TVs, and more. Let's be real about the OTT buying process. It's super complex. Premion wants to help you simplify this process by connecting you to multiple OTT services in any DMA through a single seamless transaction. Not only that, you don't have to worry about viewers skipping ads because Premion's ads are non-skippable with completion rates averaging 95%. And make no mistake, Premion's top priority is protecting your brand in a safe environment. There's a lot to cover with over-the-top viewing. So if you'd like to learn more about Premion's unique service, contact your local Premion sales team or email info@premion.com.
Okay, so I'll stop it there because that is a very technically packed video for people that are used to buying media, and then what this alternative offers to them.
I'm one of the IT managers here, part of engineering. I've been in the industry for a total of about 7 years, a little about 2.5 here at KGW, and then a few in the past. I was also at Intel, so I have a vast technology background. But engineering is kind of the technical glue that holds everything together. The marketing people, they work with everybody to produce TV spots and all that. But we're really technical here in engineering. Anything that has either a plug, connects to the internet, connects to any of our streaming devices. We basically try and keep that up and operational. Sometimes it varies. Some days it could be really boring here. Other days it could be very stressful. A lot of things are down. A lot of people are needing help, stuff like that. But at KGW, we have actually one main transmitter and 17 smaller translators, and that distributes our signal throughout the state of Oregon and Washington. And what we look for really is you don't necessarily have to have a background or experience with technology, but what we really try to hire is people who have kind of an intuition or an ability to troubleshoot or a signal flow, like, well, this is happening. What are the steps to rectify it? Stuff like that. Anyway, I'll give you a small tour here of, this is actually the master control room. We don't have anybody sitting in it right now, but this is where all of the content comes in. We have playlists that play out commercial spots and make that revenue, as David said. But yeah, we have our main tiers here. We have some sub channels, 8.2, 8.3, if you've ever seen that. We got a bunch of sky cams. Basically everything comes into this room is mixed out. So we have, right now we have the newsroom here. We got some Dan Haggerty stuff right there. A whole bunch of cool stuff. So if you like a lot of technology, or you like to be, you like to try and figure things out, like how does this work? How does that work? If you just have that in general intuition, we want you here.